Well, Dave, it's a couple of weeks before you actually play now, so you've got a break. What happens? What are you doing?
Well, the players were in yesterday, and obviously there was a 23s game. They're off today and tomorrow, and then we're having them in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, off Sunday, in Monday. Game currently stands 2 games on Tuesday, a 23s game and the Stockport game. So that's the plan until next Tuesday.
There's a bit of a break, obviously, for them, odd days off here and there. Can that help you? You're probably going into the last lap now of the season where you've got to really try and get 7 wins out of 7, basically. But can it help away from the environment, a break for the players to come back and be refreshed?
Well, we've given them an extra day off this week, like I said today, because we think they've certainly not been lacking in effort. So we want to try and refresh their minds before reinstilling some principles and what we want from them Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's the premise of the plan. And hopefully that'll prove fruitful come the next game.
As you go into this final run in, how do you view sort of having that positive run? How important could that be for wherever it takes you to when you start again next August?
Yeah, it's vital. It's vital that you show some resolve and show some fight and show some competitiveness, irrespective of results. And I think if you do that, then you're sort of 3/4 of the way there. You then got to add a bit of stardust and a bit of team ethos, if you like, and all understanding. But like I say, you got to remember that we're a relatively new team. I think I've been told there were 14 players that we haven't got that's played this year. That was with us at the start of the season. So that's the sort of transition that we're in. That's the process that we're in, and hopefully that by finishing the season as strong as we can, then it does carry over to next season.
You're probably nearly 2 weeks into when you made your managerial amendments. How's that all going, and are you seeing some fruits being born?
Yeah, if you saw yesterday's training session, Kenny's taking one with some players and Alex is taking another session with some other players, and because we're a player development club, and by making it a bit more of a formal sort of appointment, if you like, it provides clarity. It provides clarity, and I think that's really important. So yeah, we're getting back to what we are, the core of our coaching elements of this football club.
Are you expecting some sort of instant rewards at the first team level, or are you seeing it as more of a long-term project?
Yeah, it's. I don't think in football you do generally get instant rewards, changes. It doesn't tend to happen. Even though every single football fan seems to think that changing the manager happens, the stats suggest otherwise. And changing its staff internally doesn't have that effect. It doesn't tend to have that effect. You do it for the right reason. You do it for the positive reasons, and I'm sure it will in the long run.
And of course, the other recruitment situation I think it was closed last week. Where are you with that? What progress has been made?
There's 3 being interviewed today and 1 interviewed later on in the week, and we'll be making decisions based on that.
So it was important that you moved quickly. By the looks of it, you have moved quickly because you've sort of brought your shortlist together and interviews are taking place. Was that important that you got it done? I think if I remember right, even when Neil Baker was here, he never had a recruitment. I think it's the first time he's got that post.
Yeah. I've said to the chairman, and the chairman agreed. It can't all. There needed to be additional resources, and the chairman and the board were understanding of that, and have agreed to that, and I'm thankful for that. And it's an important role. It's a really important role. If we don't get the right people in the building, then it makes the coaching element so much more difficult. So it's an important role for us. It's not a new role in football, but it's a role that's going to add resources to the first team environment, which is a real positive. And like I say, we're really grateful for the chairman and the board to put the resources in that position.
Does the person that you sort of bring in, that you appoint, has to hit the ground running? Is that something that you really need?
Yes, I think hit the ground running. We're still doing what we're doing, it's not as if it's just right, on you go. There's your office and crack on, and here's your laptop. There's a lot of good things about this football club. There's some things that need help. There's some things that have got slight cracks, and there's a hell of a lot of things that are very, very, very good. You know, you've got to remember we had a promotion summer last year. It was just sold, you know, there's 5 or 6 players playing in the Championship from last season. That's an unbelievable stat. We've played more minutes of under 21 players than anyone in the country. Unbelievable stat. You know, there's a lot of good things about this football club, and I appreciate that results dictate sentiment and feeling around a football club. I get that. There's a lot that's still going very, very well, but we just need a bit of help in other areas, and hopefully we'll get the right people on board.
You lost, as you say, top players are all playing Championship football and all holding their own as well and doing very well. How big would you say this next rebuilding programme is through the summer for you? On a par or bigger?
I think any transfer window is an opportunity to improve. We've got to get more right than wrong. We've certainly got to get more right than we did last year. Although timing dictated a lot of that, I have to say. You know, you lose your 2 wide players in August, and you then bring in 2 experienced players who both leave in August. You're left with a mountain to climb. It's you know, and that's, some of it can half be predicted, some of it most definitely can't. And with our resources and our finances, that gives you a mountain to climb, and that's just fact. It's not an excuse, it's just fact. So we've got to make sure we are as fully prepared as we can be, and hopefully we'll make right decisions.
Well, the supporters have been asking, and it might take a long time, but I think we'll try and sort of condense it a little bit. They want to try and have an injury update in terms of your players. They've been on about that, and I said to them, well, it could be about an hour long.
Yeah.
But if you could probably just try and go through who might be back and where you are. So let's start with probably Mick Amandel.
I think the first thing to say is, I could quite easily bang on about injuries every week, quite easily, and then I'd be accused of getting me excuses lined up before you sat down in the chair. So it's a fine line between giving the supporters the information that they would like, me to be seen in a morning so and so, and also the competitive nature of, well, we don't want certain clubs to know that certain people are injured or for a certain length of time. So there's a bit of a propaganda element to it as well, which the supporters must understand. And if they don't understand, then fair enough, but they're not going to get told it, because that's my job, to protect this football club and do the best thing for this football club. So there's all them elements. Now, if you want to talk about injuries, I'm interviewing in 20 minutes, so we've got another 20 minutes at least. But yeah, Mika started running from his medial and was fine, but he had a pain in his ankle. They scanned him. He's got a bit of a stress response in his ankle now, so he's out for, I think his boot either comes off today or tomorrow, actually. So he's had that on for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Scott Robertson, let's go to him then.
Scott Robertson's had an operation last week. He's out for the season.
Ryan Alabusi?
He's had an operation. He did his ankle really badly, to be fair. So he had an operation. He's gone back to Arsenal.
Tariq Uwaki?
He is on the mend, and I'm hoping that we'll see him again this season.
Rio Adebisi, I'm nearly coming to the end of him. I think you might have to help me out in a minute.
Yeah, he had an operation on Wednesday. Last Wednesday. What are we on today? Tuesday. Yeah, he had an operation last Wednesday, which went fine, and he's back in the building today, but he'll be done for the season, obviously.
Scott Cashkett, is he close now to possibility?
Yeah, he's still, you know, he does a bit, does a bit, does a bit, so we're trying to get him close and closer. I think that's more of a, it's very difficult when I ask the physios that, they go, don't know, depends, kind of thing. So we're hopeful, and we're trying to push and see where we get to with him.
I think we spoke about Billy Sass Davis, but if you can bring it up today, I think that's it.
Billy will be back in a week or so.